יבוא
אשר מלך בטרם קום יציר נברא לעת נשא וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא Adonai
Esa inai el heharim me'ayin yavo ezri. Esa inai Harim Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Esaina El Harim Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Esaina El Harim Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Ezri Me'im Adonai Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz Esa'enai El Harim Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. I lift up my eyes to the mountain. Where does my help come from? I lift up my eyes to the mountain. Where does my help come from? You know my help, it comes from God who made heaven and earth. Esainai El Harim Me'ayin Yavo
Asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'ed nasa v'chefetzo kol azay melech shemo nikra
Shabbat Shalom.
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 Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the service. Before we welcome in Shabbat, we are mindful again that this is the last Shabbat in the month of Elul, which means that when this Shabbat closes, we open the door to Slichot tomorrow evening. We hope you'll join us for that at 8:30 tomorrow evening. But going into this final Friday night together in Elul and with our theme song, Achat Sha'alti from Psalm 27, the psalm of this month, I'm reminded that the instruction in there is, or the request that the psalmist is asking for is, Lachazot b'noam, which means, loosely interpreted, to be able to see through eyes that see pleasantness. And so it is my blessing and my hope for you in the next 24 hours and all the hours until Rosh Hashanah that part of your cheshbon nefesh, part of your soul accounting, will be paying attention to what lens through which you are seeing the world. Is it a lens that wants to look for the pleasant, for the good, and if it's not, maybe you can work on transforming and turning towards that lens. Achat Sha'alti.
Achat Sha'alti meit Adonai ota vakesh. Achat Sha'alti meit Adonai ota vakesh. Shivti b'beit Adonai kol yemei chayai. Lachazot b'noam Adonai ulevacher b'chalo. Lachazot b'noam Adonai ulevacher b'chalo. Achat Sha'alti meit Adonai ota vakesh. Achat Sha'alti meit Adonai ota vakesh.
Just as Moses explained to the Israelites, the Torah is not out there, it is in here. So let's create a sanctuary in here and share that with one another. Love, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Hine mato, umanayim, shevet achim, gam yachad. Hine mato, umanayim, shevet achim, gam yachad.
Love prepare me, love prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lecha likner Shel Shabbat.
This Shabbat, as we welcome in our Sabbath bride, we welcome her in with an even greater celebration to be had, as it's Noah Senzon's bar mitzvah. And throughout our service this evening, he is going to drop in as he and his family just did. And of course, tomorrow, Noah will be reading from the Torah. So we welcome you, Noah, we welcome your family, and we welcome the Shabbat bride.
Lecha lecha dodi, likra kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likra kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi, likra kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi, likra kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmianu el ham yachad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'liti la 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 lecha dodi, likra kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi, likra kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habracha, merosh mekedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshiva tichla la 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 lecha dodi, likra kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi, likra kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Hi toreri, kiva ore kumi ori, uri shir daberi. Kevod Adonai alaich nigla la 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 lecha dodi, likra kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi, likra kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Please rise. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uv'tzehola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala. Lecha dodi, likra kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabel la 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 Lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabel la Lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabel la.
Please rise for Chatzi Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'Yit Shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon u'vyomechon uv'chayedecho Beit Yisrael. Bagala uvizman kariv v'meru.
Amen.
Yehi Shmei Rabba mevorach, ve'alam ulal me'almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh, v'yithalal shemei dekudusha b'richu. Ve'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'yemeru.
Amen.
If you are standing, please remain standing. If you are not, please allow your body to experience that upward lift, your soul to experience that upward lift for our call to prayer, Baruch Hu.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Continue with our prayer for creation. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi laila umavdil bein yom uvein laila Adonai tzebaot shemo. El chai v'kayam. Tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim.
Torah
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kavod Malchuto, Ve'olam Va'ed, Ve'avta Et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'elech asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha v'aderech Ushochbecha ukumecha, ukshartam le'od al yadecha, v'chayu l'tochafot beinecha, uktavtam al zuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, item gershim le'elochechem, ani Adonai Elochechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'erei Mitzrayim liyot lachem l'Elohim ani Adonai Elochechem Amen.
1.
All this is true and trustworthy, our experience of this world. Our lives are difficult. We are pursued by our ideas and our imperfections. We must choose between life and death, between slavery and freedom. We sway between listening for hope and succumbing to anguish and despair, the death of our spirit. But we are not abandoned nor alone. We search the distant past and our own days and find the courage to enter our struggles, to wrestle with the pharaohs in our hearts and those in the world around us, and to slowly free ourselves from bondage. We are companions who help each other rise from the dust. From age to age, the tale has been told, how Moses and Miriam led us forth from Egypt. The deed of liberation is answered with joyous song, a moment of celebration that lingers and uplifts us in the midst of all our days.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Norati lo oseh pele, norati lo oseh Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, rokei hayam livnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai imloch
I lay under the moon. And thank God I'm breathing. And then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason. Sometimes if my tears are drowned, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more, there'll be no more war, and the children will play. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day.
Ashkenainu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Eloheinu Shomrei, Nu leChaim. Ashkenainu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Eloheinu Shomrei, Nu leChaim.
Everything is gonna be alright. 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 Alright, 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 alright. Alright, 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 alright.
Let's join in celebration for our communal commitment to guard Shabbat.
Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat b'korei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat b'korei, oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shevi Shabbat, Kulam Yisbe'u, V'yitangu v'tuvecha Shabbat, Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat b'korei, oneg Shabbat, Yismechu b'malechutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat b'korei, oneg Shabbat. V'vashehi ratzita bo v'kidashu Shabbat, chemdar yamim, oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat b'korei, oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat b'korei, oneg Shabbat. Zecher למעשה בראשית שבת, זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת, ישמחו במלאכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
Rise for tefillah.
Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Agita Filatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Chanurah, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר הסתיו ואימהות, ומביאו לו לבני בניכם, למען שמו באחווה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן הברכה ועזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב והושיע, מוריד הטל, מחלחל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רמים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומחיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך ממית, ומחיה ומשמיע ישועות, ונאמן אתה לך חיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחייך המתים. אתה קדוש בשמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלח. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
One.
You may be seated. It doesn't interest me if there is one God or many gods. I want to know if you belong or feel abandoned, if you know despair or can see it in others. I want to know if you are prepared to live in the world with its harsh need to change you, if you can look back with firm eyes saying, "This is where I stand." I want to know if you know how to melt into that fierce heat of living, falling toward the center of your longing. I want to know if you are willing to live day by day with the consequence of love and the bitter, unwanted passion of your sure defeat. I have heard in that fierce embrace, even the gods speak of God.
Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo.
המחזיר שכינתו לציון.
Amen.
Thou hast given so much to me. Give one thing more, a grateful heart, not thankful when it pleaseth me, as if thy blessings had spare days, but such a heart whose pulse may be thy praise.
Join in our anthem of peace, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon v'chol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon v'chol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'neinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
At this time, we think of all of those who are in need of God's healing presence. Please join us in Misha Berach, our prayer for healing of body and spirit.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. Bless those in need of healing with Refuach Shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We think now of Evelyn Aronson, Chris Argel, Amy Cooper, Andrew Fisher, Voldemort Donye, Dean Gabney, Roger Gluckman, Gabby Goldberg, Bert Horwitz, Stuart Goodman, Alicia Good, Nita Hicks, Chris Kuntz, Bernard Leader, Dina Paul, Deborah Sanders, Julie Sherman, Bob Ward, Marlene Wexelblatt, Nancy Ash, Shoshana Slatsky, Catherine Mann, Steve Simmons, Steve Schimmel, Tom Gosnell, Coletta Kaufman, Debbie Lang, and Kevin, if you have additional names from the congregation.
Wee Fan, Steve and Jamie Davis, Michael P., Carlin Farelli, Gloria Cohen, Sheila Crandell, Pat Cairns, Emma B. Hanna, Daryl Prager, Robert Prager, Ori Solomon, Pat Cassio, Deborah Lang, Marcia Rachel, Nikki, Lee and Alan Klein, Jeffrey Weinstein, Marnie Kaner, Susan Barbour, the Patch family, Harriet Berlin, Amy Berlin Danner, Alice Bittner, the Jean family, Michael Brooks, Deborah Lang, Ann Walters, Linda Levine, Stan Tenen, Bo Farson, and Sylvia Gold.
Nicole's mom.
Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Please take a moment of silence.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Yehi ratzon lefi vehegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri v'goali.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Ahava, and I'll be doing the Divide this evening. I was in the 6th grade. It was another day listening to Mr. Wilson drone on and on about what I think was math. Suddenly our janitor interrupted. A plane just crashed into one of the Twin Towers, he said. All of us 11-year-olds were confused. Many of us, including myself, had never heard of the Twin Towers. To our surprise, our monotone teacher jumped out of his chair, exclaimed, "What?" bolted to the TV, turned it on, and backed up into his chair. He had turned it on just in time for us to see a recap of the second tower being hit. I remember the rest of the day in snippets. I remember how quiet it was when we got off the bus that afternoon. I remember the news being on when we got home, and the news was never on. I remember sitting on the couch, watching in curiosity and confusion as the towers came down in dust clouds. And my mother on the phone saying, "Oh my God." I was old enough to remember what happened, but not old enough to understand the implications. 9 years later, I would find myself in the middle of those implications, thousands of miles away from home, in the middle of the scorching desert, terrified for my existence. That was the first time I encountered the choice between life and death. In this week's Parsha Nitzavim, God tells the Israelites, "Life and death I have set before you, blessing and curse. Choose life." What does that mean? Does it simply mean to not die? Aren't we dying every day in a sense? Instead of choosing not to die, I think the Torah is alluding to the fact that people choose not to truly live. Something I've learned about the process of death is that there's a way to kill something, so it festers and rots. And there's another way that things die, that nourishes and nurtures the soul with nutrients, that gives rise to new life. Maybe that's what the Torah means by choosing life. During Sukkot, our prayer for rain says, L'chaim v'lo lamavet, to life and not to death. The rabbis make it very clear how you say this, because with the mispronunciation of vowels, it can be translated to life and not death. This is problematic because the rabbis understood it isn't enough to just not be dead. If the only criteria you have for being alive is a beating heart, this is problematic. They wanted us to understand that we should feel truly alive, not just not dead. I see choosing life as choosing connection. Choosing to cut yourself off from the things that are life-affirming would be its opposite. To stay in your head and let negativity dictate who you are and what you do would not be to choose life. It's precisely those thoughts that invite apathy, paralysis, and despair to disconnect you from others. And further, if you disconnect from your own suffering, you will be unable to meet the suffering of others with compassion. One might be alive in body, but dead in all these ways. Rabbi Shlomo ben Elazar Rokeah of Belz said, "There are 3 types of exiles, and they are of increasing severity. The first is when Jews are in exile among other nations. The second is when Jews are in exile among other Jews. The third and most severe is when a Jew is alien to him or herself, for he or she is both captor and captive, in exile with him or herself." Since the pandemic began in March, I felt the Torah's choice was indeed in my hands. Blessing and curse, life and death. And sometimes I've struggled to choose life. With our beautiful temple sanctuary closed, I've had to find sanctuary within myself, and this has been very difficult. I've wrestled with being alone and physically disconnected from others. I've been fortunate enough to have loved ones who remind me to choose life. One of the mantras that has helped me this year, incidentally, does not come from the Torah, but from the Disney movie Frozen 2. For those who have not seen Frozen 2, there's a song Anna, one of the heroines, sings when she's all alone and devastated. It starts out, "I've known dark before, but not like this. This is cold, this is empty, this is numb." She sings about how her loved ones, who have always given her purpose, are no longer there for her, and somehow she has to find a new purpose. "This grief has a gravity, it pulls me down," she sings. But a tiny voice whispers in my mind, "You are lost, hope is gone, but you must go on and do the next right thing." When I feel lost and like my hope is gone, the only thing I need to do is the next right thing. This mantra has been integral for helping me choose life in all of my dark moments. The next right thing has at times been as simple as grabbing a glass of water. Drinking water is, in that moment, a way I can choose life. It is a choice to move in the direction of living and connection, even when it seems hopeless and I feel utterly alone. I just have to remember that on any given day, to choose to do the next right thing. Some of us choose it by going into nature, to connect with the source of life, and let it nourish our bodies and spirits. Some of us have families we can turn to hold and cherish. Some of us have warm, fuzzy creatures, or maybe even not so warm and fuzzy, to warm our souls. Some of us watch Disney movies. To choose life is a daily practice of letting it fill you and heal you. It's not something that happens all at once. Sometimes you might feel all of this life is uncomfortable, and you feel yourself second-guessing your choice. I challenge you to bring God's choice to your awareness, and notice how many times a day you choose life and connection. How many times a day do you choose death and disconnection? I invite you in that moment to pause and think, what might be the next right thing I can do to choose life? Shabbat Shalom.
Latech Gedua, Leoter Bereshit,
Shelo asanu kegoye haratzot.
Velo Samanu, Kishmipchot Ha'adama,
Shelo Sam Hakenu Kahen,
Vegoralenu, Chol Ha'amonam, Va'anachnu Korim,
Umitachavim umodim.
Lifnei Melech Malkei Hamalchim
HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and our neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. We especially, on this September 11th, remember all of those victims of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and we offer this blessing. Creator of all, source and shelter, grant perfect rest under your tabernacle of peace to those who died on 9/11/2001. Remember the works of their hands and the message of their hearts. Remember all those who were lost in the terror of that day and all of those who tried to save lives. Grant their families peace and comfort for your name's sake and for the sake of those who perished. Bring an end to violence and terror speedily and in our day. May their memories endure, and may their souls be bound up in the bond of life, a living blessing in our midst. And we say, Amen. As well, we mention by name Leah Carpin, who passed in recent days and weeks. And we also acknowledge the yard sites, the anniversaries of the passings of Fela Robinson Backer, Mary Ellen Burke, Minnie Dreyfus, Anna Gershenson, Judith Gould, Leona Gottesman, Betty Gradman, Arthur Joseph, Sheva Pinkwater, Sarah Pitt, Shirley Plotkin, and Oscar Roman. Are there additional names, Len?
David Cairns, Jake Swiger, Aja Dembele, and the victims of 9/11.
If it is your custom to rise or you are in mourning, I invite you to do so as we join in the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon Uvachaye decho Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalau vizman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam Olamei Amaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, Shemei dekudesha brichu, Le'ela min kol berchata b'shirata, Tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen. You may be seated.
May I suggest to you, may I suggest this is the best part of your life. May I suggest this time is blessed for you. This time is blessed and shining almost blinding bright. Just turn your head and you'll begin to see 1,000 reasons that were just beyond your sight. The reasons why I suggest to you, why I suggest this is the best part of your life. This is a song, comes from the west to you, comes from the west, comes from the slowly setting sun. Request of you to see how very short the endless days will run. And when they're gone, when the dark descends, we'd give anything for one more hour of light. And that is why I suggest to you, why I suggest this is the best part of your life. May I suggest to you, may I suggest this is the best part of your life.
Good evening, CBHT family. This is Gaia Goldman representing the board with some announcements. But first, thank you to Rabbi, Seth, and Kim for the service this evening, and Toda Rabbah to Ahava Miller for her devar. Also, a big mazel tov to Noah Senzon and parents Susan and Simon Senzen. Everyone can join us, of course, tomorrow starting at 10 a.m. right here for the streaming of Noah's Bar Mitzvah service, and we're all looking forward to that. Last week, we mailed our Keepsakes CBHT High Holy Day Guide to all members who have renewed their fair share for the fiscal year that began on July 1st. If you have renewed your fair share, you should also be receiving emails about our plans for services and events for the High Holy Days. These are separate emails from our normal weekly emails. If you have not received your guide or emails but did renew your fair share commitment, please contact the office. And as a reminder, if you have not made your temple commitment, CBHT needs you now more than ever, so please contact Buffy to renew your fair share. As you know, we're currently in the month of Elul. This year, for the first time, CBHT will be doing a community al-Chet, a collective confession. Your responses will be compiled into a communal litany of trespasses, which we hope to confess to this year. It will be shared as part of our Kol Nidre service. We would love for everyone to participate, and there is a form in your weekly emails. Please be a part of this new CBHT tradition. Billy Jonas's Elevating Elul series began August 27th. This series is designed to help prepare you for High Holy Days with music, mindfulness, and meditation. Join Billy for one more this Thursday at 7 p.m. to open yourself to making the High Holy Days a transformative time. Registration links in your Tuesday and Friday emails. Please join Sisterhood for a drive-by pre-Rosh Hashanah Oneg on Wednesday, September 16th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. in the temple parking lot. Come pick up a gift of honey cake from Greens in Brooklyn, local apples, and honey. This is open to everyone while supplies last, and how sweet of sisterhood for their treat. Does your family put up a sukkah? Sisterhood wants to know. They will be making a video montage of sukkahs of our CBHT community and would love your family to participate. Contact Amy Cantera by Monday, September 14th to get the details on how to participate. Join us for Kehila Tefillah this Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. and Laila Tov, a taste of Ma'ariv, on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. For everyone registered for religious school, please remember that this is part of your attendance, so we hope to see you there. Our Intro to Judaism class is back for its biennial appearance. This is a great class for anyone looking to learn more or get a refresher course about the Jewish faith and our practices. Also, anyone interested in conversion or for non-Jewish partners and family members of practicing Jews. If you or someone you know is interested, please email Buffy for more info. Our Tikkun Olam committee is urging us to vote by mail with an absentee ballot. We all know how important this election is, and the time is drawing near. Don't delay. Check out the info on your weekly email and be a part of this important process. Developing Skills for Practicing Anti-Racism is an event that will be held Thursday, September 17th from 11:45 a.m. to 1:15 p.m. Join Yavila McCoy, a Black Jewish woman, as she guides our community in reflection and learning about not only what anti-racism is, but what concrete skills we need to put it into place. See your Tuesday email for registration link. Another event is called At the Intersection of Racism and Anti-Racism, and this one is held Tuesday, September 22nd from 7 to 8:30 p.m. In this workshop, we'll examine racism and anti-racism as related anti-Semitism as related ideologies, and work to understand how these ideologies impact the Black and Jewish communities, with particular attention paid to those whose identities lie at the intersection of these two groups. Registration link in your Tuesday email. One Man Show, Blood Done, Sign My Name. The Lottie Meyerson Tikkun Olam Committee's anti-racism subgroup suggests congregants attend a North Carolina stage Zoom performance of this one-man show based on the memoir of Tim Tyson. North Carolina-based playwright, actor, and director Mike Wiley brings to life the recollections of author Tim Tyson surrounding the 1970 murder of Henry Dickey Merrow in Oxford, North Carolina, and the events that followed. Info on times and tickets in your Tuesday email. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Where is everyone? Hi, Rabbi. I'm Len, representing the Brotherhood tonight, and I am looking into the camera talking to you all, but really, I'm talking to Noah. Noah, please look deeply into the television set, into the phone, into the iPad, into the computer, so I know that we are talking to each other. You know, I had Noah as a student and also as a Hebrew student, and I get the kids when they're doing their Friday night services, the prayers for Friday night services. So we have lots of talks about what Friday night services are going to be like. Noah, I'm sorry. I was wrong. This is what it's like. It's not what I told you it was going to be like. And for that, I didn't know. I'm guessing in some ways it was easier for you, although I've been assured that you did everything in one take, because that's kind of how you did stuff with me. And I am super excited because of the other things that I am doing, that I get to be in the room where it happens tomorrow to see you do your thing. As a teacher, that is a thrill. And I'm glad that I get to see it. I also did get to see a preview earlier in the week. And something that I never noticed before, I know you as a student, I got to see you interact with your parents more than I'm used to, and with Rabbi. And one thing that I was struck by is how you had no problem speaking for yourself with Rabbi. Rabbi asked a question, you had an answer, you had an opinion, you did not mind if it was possibly not the answer Rabbi wanted to hear. You were very sure of yourself and respectful, but you did articulate for yourself. And I found that quite surprising. I'm not sure why I found it so surprising, but I saw you in a different way, and it was something that I really liked seeing, that I don't have any concern that as you go on, I've already known that scholastically you will continue to do the right thing, but I was struck with a sense that in all other walks of life, you'll be doing the same. I also have the privilege of giving you some presents. I'm not sure how we do this, because you're there and I'm here, but we're going to try it out. I don't know what order to go in. I will start with...
Whatever you want.
With the money. I mean, not literally the money, but the prize, which is your bar mitzvah certificate, which, as you know, is magnificent and gorgeous and would not look good on your wall unless it was surrounded by a frame, which it is perfectly well suited for. So it's already been signed. So Rabbi cannot take back her signature. So that should give you some relief. And the reason why is because we all know you've already achieved bar mitzvah. Tomorrow, you're just showing us what you already know. We also have, technically suitable for framing, but that's not actually what you're supposed to do with it, which is a certificate, a gift certificate from Nifty for $250 for a trip to Israel. So don't lose that. Your parents will appreciate you holding on to that. It's kind of, in some ways, a present to them. And then from Brotherhood and Sisterhood, we have from Brotherhood a Tanakh, because they want you to study, and from Sisterhood a wine glass, because they want you to celebrate Shabbat. Mazel tov. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, seeing your family, and seeing people in the synagogue for this wonderful occasion. Shabbat shalom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Rei Peri HaGafen. Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamotzi lachem min haaretz.
So tomorrow, Noah is going to show us just how sweet the study of Torah really is. And tonight, we are going to sing about it. So join us together for the last song, Sweet as Honey.
Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on sweet words of Torah, sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.